In this lesson, we're going to be writing our specification. So on the left-hand side, we've got our 10 specification points. We've got our criteria and our justification. And lastly, we've got our link to research. In your assignment, there are two templates you can use. You can use this blank one here. But there's also one that is partially filled out to help you with sentence starters and some ideas here. On slide 3, you will also see question prompts here to get you thinking about different points you can raise for your specification. So to start off, if we look at this example here, so let's say, for example, we were talking about a toy. Okay, aesthetics means how something looks. So in your criteria points here, you've got to be specific where possible. So you could say, for example, you need to keep it nice and clear for your criteria points. So you can say the product must be colorful, and your justification would be the toy will be colorful because the client requested just this during the client interview. The parent knows that the client enjoys colored toys. Okay, and all of your research basically combines together in order to write your specification. So you're writing down everything that you've found out. You're using all the information that you've gained from doing your research to write a detailed specification. So in this link to research here, you can link it to where you have evidence of colorful toys. So it might be from your mood board, and you might have also asked your client a question similar to that so that you know that they would like the toy to be colored. So for cost, you've got to give numerical values where possible. So you can do that for cost, pretty much customer size. You need to be quite specific in your points, in your criteria points. So cost, the product will cost no more than, and then you've got to give an amount here. So it might be 200 dirham, it might be 500 dirham. And you would justify why it is at that price. Okay, so you've got to look back at your research and figure out why you would have it at that price. You might have asked that in a client interview. You might have found that out from your primary/secondary research. So these are just templates here. You will have to change these according to your project. These are just examples here. Okay, so you work through it here. So customer, you can be quite specific, whether it's for a male or female or a child. Yeah, you can give an age range here. So anything in blue here is just examples for you. The product will be aimed at 3 to 6 year olds, or you could have the product will be aimed at adults of both genders. Okay, they are just sentence starters. So these what is an example of what it should be like here in your criteria point. And anything in black is a sentence starter to help you write your point. And in your justification, you've got to explain why you have given it this here. So if we went back to the cost point here, the product will cost no more than, let's say, 500 dirham. I found out this information from completing my client interview. You could also say that I also found out from doing my primary and secondary research that similar products were of the same price range. And then that would be a perfect specification for that. Okay guys, so we have got 10 points here. So you need to answer all 10. You need to have your criteria, just keep your criteria point, just one sentence is fine for this. In your justification, you can explain it, you can justify it, but do not have an essay in here for your criteria point. This should be short, to the point. Okay, exact. So you can give numerical values where possible. So size, customer, cost, you can all give numerical. You can be quite specific on these. So materials here, the product will be made from. Now, you would probably have a rough idea what it's going to be made of. If you say wood, that's not quite specific enough. We can always come back and change that anyway, but if you're making it out of wood, you're generally going to be using woods, for example, like beech, pine, ash, mahogany. Okay, so you could say if your project are just going to solely be made out of wood, you could say the product would be made from beech. Okay, and then you've got to explain why it's made from that. So you might have asked the client this question, what would you like your product made from? In your client interview, you could maybe have found that out in your primary research that similar products were made of that material. You could explain the properties of that material. So for beech, is it strong? Is it lightweight? Is it water resistant? Can you apply a finish to it, etc. Right, guys, that's today's task. If you've got any questions, make sure you ask your teacher. For your link to research, you can put down more than one point where it's linked into your research. So your specification is basically the whole lot of your research coming together into one.